Golf Channel NBC Sports reporter, the intrepid, the peripatetic Steve Sands. Golf Channel NBC Sports. And you got the Ryder Cup this week from France, and that starts Friday and goes through Sunday. But Steve was there. He was in the trenches. He was there when Tiger Woods came off 18 and got a chance to talk to him. Steve, how are you, buddy?
The captain of the all-lobby team, Dan Patrick. Good to be with you, bud.
No, if I'm captain, you're MVP.
You're
my Ryder Cup. You're my Ryder Cup captain when it comes to all lobby bar.
Let me tell you something. Just like when I was an intern at CNN Sports in the late 80s and 90s, I am always your vice captain, pal.
I appreciate that. Describe that feeling of the atmosphere on 18 with Tiger yesterday.
I've never seen anything like it in golf. And we do the Open Championship, Dan, as you know. And that's the only event in golf where they have that scene where the fans are allowed onto the fairway and go charging up the fairway towards the green with the guy who is eventually going to win or the person in the last group. And yesterday's scene was spectacular, and it was loud. I mean, it was not golf loud, Dan. It was sports loud. It was amazing to see what was taking place out there.
He was fighting the tears. Could you sense that?
I did. It kind of surprised me. I was not thinking he was going to go that route because normally, Tiger doesn't do that kind of thing. I thought he sounded more human than he's ever sounded. You could tell me, Dan. You were probably watching as well. I thought he sounded more human than he's ever sounded. I thought he sounded as humble as he's ever sounded. I think he understands exactly where he came from, and I think now the fans understand exactly what he's gone through to get back to this point and what it meant to him to get that 80th victory.
As far as comebacks go, and I know we love to categorize, but Ben Hogan came back from nearly dying, but this is Tiger with a lot of it being self-imposed, but it's still a comeback. As long as this has been to be able to do what he's done, how would you categorize just how great this is sports-wise?
Well, I think it's the greatest or the largest fall from grace in the history of sports, and now I think it's the greatest comeback in the history of sports. No offense to Ben Hogan. I understand he got in the car accident and almost passed away because of it, but Tiger Woods is literally the greatest player of his generation, perhaps the greatest player of all time. And for him to go down to where he was, not just personally, Dan, but health-wise, and then the issues he had legally, and then all the things that have transpired and all the things that have taken place, I think this is the greatest comeback in the history of sports. Now, Tiger's about winning majors, Dan. Yep. He's not winning regular PGA Tour events and saying that he's all the way back. So before we, rub the anointing oil all over the greatest comeback in the history of sports phrase, I think it's an amazing comeback. But until he wins a major, I don't think even Tiger will tell you that he's fully back.
His demeanor now as opposed to 10 years ago?
Oh, it's a lot different. I think that one of the things that's fascinating about these young guys, and yesterday Rory, crumbled under the wake and wilted playing alongside Tiger. Justin Rose did not play well at all when he was trying to chase down Tiger as well. Other guys have performed well. Molinari this summer was great playing alongside him, and Brooks Koepka was great at the PGA playing in front of him, or behind him actually, trying to win the PGA. I think that one of the things that's interesting about the young guys, Dan, is that because of the way Tiger's demeanor is now versus the way it was when he was destroying the spirit of Ernie Els and VJ and Phil Mickelson and Retief Goosen and David Duval and that group, is that he's gotten to know these guys and he's allowed them to get to know him. So because of that, he has a bit of a softer demeanor with the other players who are trying to beat him, and also with us and with the fans. And we saw that yesterday from Tiger. He is a little bit softer, a little bit more congenial, a little bit friendlier with everybody. And I think, I think it's a good thing. It'll be interesting to see how all of that transpires for him trying to get back to where he wants to be, which is back in the winner's circle at a major championship. But for now, clearly he is a much more, mellow person to be around in and around the golf course, especially when he's competing against the guys he's with. It's amazing to watch him. He used to stone those guys.
Yeah.
Man. You know that. He was like with blinders on, and now he walks fairways and walks off tee boxes and is talking to the other players in his group. It's fascinating to watch.
Steve Sands of the Golf Channel, NBC Sports, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. What's more incredible, that 10-year period where he dominated or a 10-year period where he didn't do anything?
Oh, man. The 10-year period where he dominated in this sport is beyond belief. It's just so hard to win in this sport. Let me give you an example. Fred Couples is in the Hall of Fame. Fred Couples won 15 times in his PGA Tour career and won major championship, a couple of players as well, but 15 total wins. He's in the Hall of Fame. He played roughly 30 years on the PGA Tour, Dan. You're talking about a half a win a year. Tiger, you're talking about 80 wins in his career now, but for that 10-year span, you're talking about something like 65, 68 wins, 14 major championships. It's crazy, incredibly great to even grasp the concept of having that 10-year period. The 10-year period without a victory or a major championship victory is amazing, but I'll always go with the positive. What he did in that 10-year span was beyond belief.
If Tiger doesn't win another major, does the comeback matter?
Oh, that's a great question. The comeback matters because he moves the needle so much, Dan, that it's incredible to me that there's never been another athlete who has moved his or her sport the way he does. The attention he brings to golf is far more than anywhere else in any other sport. I mean, we thought the NBA was gone when Michael Jordan went away, and the NBA is flourishing. The NFL continues to roll along. Baseball does great. Hockey does great when it loses stars as well. So, man, that's a great question. I think in his estimation, the comeback is almost complete now that he's won a PGA Tour event. But I think when you are as great as Tiger and you've set the bar that high, Dan, I think major championships are how he's measured. And I think this story is tremendous. But I think the fairy tale ending is him winning another major championship.
Great stuff. You asked good questions, hung in there. And, I think your friendship with Tiger certainly showed through in that interview as well, his respect for you. So safe travels to the Ryder Cup there, Steve. We appreciate your time as always.
Anytime, Dan. Good to talk to you, bud.
Hi, buddy. That's Steve Sands, Golf Channel.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.